Now, I'm going to explain the array use. In the first feature, which is the weight score calculator, we initialize a constant integer with the size of 5. This is because there are 5 assessments available, which is the quiz, assignment, lab, test, and final exam. So this 5 assessment is stored in a fixed size array of size 5. Next, if the assessment structure changes in the future, the program can be updated easily by only changing the arrays and the size. Next, since the number of students is entered by user at runtime, we use the dynamic arrays. In this way, the total score, name, and grade of students can be stored based on the number of students. In the main loop, index j is used to represent student number. This shows that the name, the total score, and the grades that uses the same index j in their arrays belongs to the same student. In the second feature, which is a GPA estimator, dynamic arrays is also used. This is because the number of students and the number of subjects is determined by user at runtime. So the arrays for the name and GPA is determined by the number of students, while the arrays for subject name and credit hours is determined by the number of subjects. For example, if there are 2 students, the program will prompt user to enter the name and calculate the GPA for each student twice. And if there are 5 subjects, then the program will prompt the user to enter the subject name and credit hours for each subject 5 times. At the end of the functions, the dynamic allocated memory is deallocated using delete so that it can prevent memory leaking. This goes the same with feature 2. By using array, we can solve the problems of storing many marks in the program. For example, if we use the basic variable, storing every student marks for each subject is inefficient, especially when there is a lot of students. This can make calculating totals, grades, GPA very time-consuming and challenging. Now I'm going to explain about the pointer use. So the using of pointer is quite similar with the arrays. It is because they can dynamically allocate the memory using the new operator for storing student data. This is because the number of students is determined by user at runtime. So the variable n is used to represent the number of students and also define the size of the dynamic arrays. So the usage of pointers can allow the program to store data for each student using the array indexing. In the second feature, which is a GPA estimator, pointer are also used to dynamically allocate memory using the new operator. This is because the number of students and the number of subjects is determined by user at runtime. So the variable n is based on the number of students and also used to define the size of the dynamic arrays for storing both name and GPA of the students. While the variable num is based on the number of subjects and is used to define the size of dynamic arrays for storing the subject name and credit hour. Okay, so this enables the program to store data and access data by using array indexing. After the calculations and file operations are completed, the dynamically allocated memory is properly released by using delete to prevent memory leaks. And this can also ensure the accurate memory management. By using pointer, we can solve the problem of storing marks in an unstructured way that makes it hard to update or modify data. So if we want to have changes or addition in the program, we can increase the risk of mistake. And if mistakes will happen, the program can easily be prone to data loss and data inconsistency.
This is the input-output file using in the code. For the function wave test score calculator, first we open the file score.txt in append mode. To store the name, student name, subject name, grade for the subject, and the total score for the subject. After that, we need to close the file. In the different function is the same code, only have the different on the open file. We have opened the different file. For GPA estimator, we open gpa.txt, and for the GPA calculator, cGPA calculator, we open cGPA.txt. Since we already saved the data in the file, so we will display it in the data summary generator, use the call function. And we will call function, and the argument is 1, 2, 3 for different option. So for option 1 is 1, option 2 is 2, option 3 is 3. Function display data. If stream is used to read data from a file. The difference between different options is the file to open. For the option 1 is the score.txt, option 2 is gpa.txt, and the else option 3 is gpa.txt. If the file is not exist, there is no record. After that is we need to display the data from the file in structured output. At the last, we need to close the file. Function remove all file. In the menu, the user can choose 5 to exit the system, and when the user enter 5, the system will display, do you want to save the data? The user can enter yes or no. If the user enter yes, and the system will directly go through the display, thank you for using the My e-learning assistant system. If no, the system will call the function remove all file. For the remove all file, we'll remove all the file that exists and display the message confirming all file has been removed. Let's start the demo code. Enter 4 to view the data summary table. Since we doesn't enter any data, so there is no file exists, it will display empty message, there is no record. Enter 1 to enter data. For the table, enter each assessment mark for the digital logic of 2 students. We can see there has 2 raw data in table for digital logic of Alia and Wong Jingting. Enter 1 again to enter each assessment mark of database for 2 students. Since we open the file in append mode, we can see the data of database is under the data of digital logic. Continue to enter each assessment mark for other subjects follow the table. So now we can see there has 5 subjects of grade and total score for 2 students in the table. Enter 2 to calculate GPA. Enter the number of students, enter year, enter SIM, enter course name, and enter number of subjects. Enter the subject name and corresponding credit hour in the subject list. So now we can see the credit hour of digital logic database FPC met as 3, and the credit hour of integrity is 2. Enter the grade of each subject calculator from table option 1 of Alia and Gong Jingting. Enter 4 to view the GPA calculator from function option 2. Enter 3 to calculate CGPA. Student name Alia. Number of semester has been completed is 1 because Alia is the student year 1 sem 1. The system will ask about do you want to calculate CGPA again when finish enter the data of previous students. Enter yes to calculate CGPA again. Enter no to end the function of calculate CGPA. Enter 5 to exit the system. The system will ask the user do you want to save the data. If the user enter yes, we can see the data still exist in file when we run the program next time. If the user enter no, the empty message there is no record will be displayed.